This is the statistical #1 pro esports gaming setup in the world, and in this video I'll show you how I found it, unbox the very same gear these top pros are using, and even try the #1 gaming setup myself to see if it makes me, an average player, better at keyboard and mouse gaming. So to actually find the #1 gaming setup, I spent hours researching the peripherals that pros use, and specifically every pro that made it to the FNCS Global Championship in France. Fortnite is known to be one of, if not the hardest game in the world to go pro in because of the ultra fast-paced nature and the many different mechanics that you have to master to compete at a pro level. And these are the 99 top players in the world that made it through months of qualifiers to finally reach the most competitive tournament of the year. And this is the breakdown of their gear. It took me so long to compile all of this, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. And now starting with the keyboard breakdown. So out of the 99 players, 6 of them were on controller, 1 player I could not find any information about. There were 4 pros who were the only ones to use their specific keyboards, so the Geonworks Venom 60HE, the Logitech G Pro X TKL, the ATK RS6 Ultra, and the Drexler 60HE. Now 2 different pros use the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition, 2 different pros use the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro TKL, 3 different pros use the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro Mini, 5 different pros use the Wooting 80HE, and 5 different pros use the Wooting 60HE. That leaves the SteelSeries Apex Pro, which 71 pros use. 32 of them use the Apex Pro Mini, and 39 of them use the Apex Pro TKL. So when we remove the controller players, 76% of the pros at the top tournament in the world are using the SteelSeries Apex Pro. That's honestly pretty crazy, but now we get to the mouse that each pro uses. So we have our 6 controller players, our 1 unknown player. And now compared to keyboard, there's a lot of one-off different mice that different pros use. So there is 1 pro each that uses the Endgame Gear XM2WE, never even heard of it. 1 pro uses the Pulsar X2 Crazy Light, 1 the Glorious Model O, 1 the Final Mouse Ultralight Medium, 1 the Ninjutsu x Vaxi Sora, 1 the WL Beast X, 1 the Final Mouse Starlight Pro, 1 the Strafe R x D M55 Pro 8K, 1 the Beast x Pink, and 1 the Razer Viper Mini SE. Now there's 2 pros that use the Final Mouse ULX Prophecy from Clicks, there's 2 pros that use the Razer Cobra Pro, there's 4 pros that use the Razer Death Adder V3 Pro, then there's 24 pros that use the Razer Viper V3 Pro, and there are 50 pros that use the Logitech Superlight. So once again, the vast majority of pros, over 50% of them, are using the same exact mouse, the Logitech Superlight 2, and the Razer Viper V3 Pro. Over 25% of these mouse and keyboard pros are using that. And last but not least, we get to the mouse pads that each pro uses. So we have our 6 controller players. The mouse pads were actually a lot harder to find than the keyboard and mouse, so 6 of the keyboard and mouse pros I wasn't able to find. However, that still leaves almost 90 that I was able to find, starting with 1 player using the VTR Inked, 1 player using the Strafe mousepad, 1 player using the Logitech G740, 1 player using the Matrix x Clicks, 1 player uses the SteelSeries QCK Heavy, 1 player uses the X-Ray Pad Aqua Control Plus, 2 players use the NFE 3XL, 2 players use the Mousepad Company, 2 players use the 4114 Aero, 2 players use the Razer Strider, and 2 players use the Razer Gigantus V2. 3 players use the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn Pro. 4 players use Argon pads, which 2 of those players are using the Speed Pad, 1 player is using the Control Pad, and 1 player is using the Swift Pad. 5 pros are using the GameSense mousepad, 5 pros are using the Arcaloop mousepad, 6 players using the 4D mousepads, with 4 of them using the 4D Enigma, and 2 of them using the 4D Tesseract. 7 pros are using the Inked Gaming mousepads, and 41 pros are using some variety of the Artisan mousepad. So the Artisan FX High-End, 4 players use that. 1 pro uses the Artisan Raiden, 4 pros use the Artisan Atsu, and 32 pros use the Artisan FX0. Now every Artisan mousepad comes in either extra soft, soft, or mid. And so out of our 41 pros that are using the Artisan mouse pads, 32 of them are using the soft models, 4 of them are using the extra soft models, and 4 of them are using the mid models. So with the #1 pro esports setup being the Apex Pro TKL, the Logitech Superlight 2, and the Artisan Ninja FX0 soft mouse pad, I have it all right here in front of me. Starting with the keyboard, which is the TKL version with the arrow keys. SteelSeries calls this the world's fastest keyboard. The switches are OmniPoint 3.0, which is a Hall effect switch with 20 times faster actuation and 11 times quicker response time compared to SteelSeries' old keyboard. It has rapid trigger, which essentially means for any action where you need to spam the same key over and over, like editing in Fortnite, you can actually get inputs faster because instead of the key having to reset all the way up at the top, you can re-engage the key at any point and it'll register it as a new press. The actuation, which is how far you have to actually press the key down for it to activate, is adjustable from 0.1 millimeters all the way up to 4 millimeters. So you can have an ultra sensitive key where even this would activate it, or you can have a key where you have to press it all the way down for it to activate. And the final feature that I'm not sure if pros actually use is protection mode. This basically reduces the sensitivity around the key that you're pressing. So if you're trying to click G and your fingers accidentally hitting F at the same time, F won't activate because it's less sensitive. Now you can turn that off, but it is kind of a cool feature if you are newer to keyboard and mouse. As for the physical look, it's nice. It has an aluminum top plate, a little mini OLED display here with a scroll wheel and a button to control media, or you can set it up and customize it. The clickiness of this keyboard is fairly tame. It still sounds good, but it has a sort of dampened sound. And of course, there is an app where you can set up all the RGB you want. It comes with a wrist rest I don't actually use, and the price sits around the $200 range. Next is the mouse, which is the updated V2 version of the popular Superlight model. This mouse has a full smooth shell, yet it still only weighs 60 grams while using the Hero 2 sensor, which Logitech says is the most advanced sensor in gaming, if that means anything. This is a fully wireless mouse with up to 8,000 hertz polling rate, and they built it with esports in mind, so even in like tech-heavy environments where there's thousands of signals from different peripherals and high interference, this is engineered so your wireless connection will always be fast and stable. It uses hybrid optical mechanical switches, which feel great and clicky, but these actually have a lower power consumption, so it helps preserve the battery life for longer. Now you just saw it does have 2 side buttons, and the scroll wheel also feels pretty nice. When you do have to charge it every like week or so, it is a USB-C port. And one thing I did think was cool is they actually shipped this mouse with grip pads if you want an extra grippy top. And the price on this changes a lot. It goes anywhere from $140 to $180, and occasionally, if you're patient enough, you can get it for under $120. Finally is the mouse pad, which honestly I never realized this was so popular until my research. This is a Japanese developed mouse pad that is made of polyester and uses a balanced textured cloth surface to create a balance between friction and stopping power. They sell 3 different textures, so the extra soft puts a lot of friction onto your mouse, making your movements much slower. The mid allows for much faster movements, and the soft, which is what we see the vast majority of pros using, is a nice medium where you get that precise feel while still being smooth enough for fast movements. This is the XL size, and the original Japanese price is only around $34, but once you ship it and import it, it's closer to $70, or actually Amazon has it for $85. Now I've been gaming on this mouse and keyboard for over a month, and I added in this mouse pad about a week ago, and I did all of this to see if this could make me a better player. And here's my findings. First of all, I like this setup. The keyboard is comfortable to me, it feels good. I love the shape and weight of this mouse, and this mouse pad slides smoothly, but it's slow enough to be really precise with my aim. Obviously, there's a ton of features behind all of these products, and I went over all of them, but as someone who's played controller for most of my life, a lot of what I can say comes down to it feels good. Like, I haven't ran into a single issue with any of these 3 products, and I think one reason people love copying pros and buying the same gear as them is because it's been proven that these can be used at the highest level in gaming. Now, with that being said, this setup is not life-changing either. Honestly, when I first started using it, I was a little underwhelmed. I've used keyboards, mice, and mouse pads of all kinds in different price ranges, and I feel like over a certain price point, like once you're spending over $100 on a keyboard or mouse, it just doesn't feel like any are that much better than the next. And even the mouse pad just feels very regularly good. It doesn't feel like it has some secret formula to crazy aim and that's why so many pros use it. It honestly doesn't feel that much different from just my regular double XL mouse pad I bought off Amazon for like 40 bucks. I'm not trying to discredit this gear, but I do think it's very possible that there's some sort of mob mentality happening here where the biggest pros are using certain gears so other pros just buy the same stuff. So this is a great setup, and now that I have it, I'm gonna keep using it, but it's maybe slightly overrated. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this one where I learned clicks as binds for one day, or even this one where I learned keyboard and mouse for an entire week. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.